It seems I tricked the car. It preconditioned for this arrival at the supercharger, and I'm not going to get out and plug it in. In today's video, we're going to talk about the following software updates, because I took too long to make the videos, so now they're all in one. 2020.12.1, 2020.12, 2020.8.1, I don't even remember, maybe 2020.8, we'll see. And we'll have had them all for a couple of days on each filming, and we'll see how each update behaves with the car. And if you like this content, please subscribe, and you'll find more of it. You'll find supercharger reviews, some software reviews, a lot of stuff that's just related to Tesla and other EVs. And with that, let's just jump into it. This mall would normally be really busy on a day like today, being a Sunday afternoon. Why it's as busy as it is, I can't quite fathom. There's a lot of restaurants, and there's a Target, so that probably has a lot to do with it. Kacey here. It's the 6th, 7th? Anyway, it's the beginning of March, and we're finally getting our second update of 2020. We're getting 2020. Let me double check. 2020.8.1. So we're going to see what's in there. Stay to the end, and we'll let you know what's going on. Catch you soon. Alright, so in this one we get what's stated is Bluetooth improvements. So basically when we sit in the car, then the Bluetooth will switch over instead of when the door opens. And the improved voice command reliability. I did just test this out by turning off the climate control and the radio before I started this video, so it did work better. Then of course we're going to watch this for a little bit longer and tell you everything that we can find different about the update. Catch you on the flip side. The address picker is new on this update. It's pretty neat. So it looks like that previous interface that I saw was actually just the view you get when you try to navigate and there's no connectivity. So at that point you'd have to put in the actual address with the city and state and everything. After a couple days with this update, I have found nothing really odd about it, nothing really out of the ordinary, not too much improved or not. I've done a couple smart summons and the car was fairly well behaved. Once it got stuck, it kind of like backed out of the space and there were a bunch of people around it doing craziness, and so they just kind of stayed there. So I released the smart summon and then did a regular reverse summon and then reinitiated the smart summon, and it came back. And all the other smart summons were fine. The Navigate on Autopilot had gave me the red hands take over immediately during a traffic jam where I got stuck in between the exit lane. The car sat there for 30 seconds or so, and then it just flipped out. And I don't know if earlier was a video or a series of pictures where we found out what the offline navigation entry was like. That was a pleasant surprise, but it is completely normal once it does have a connection. The behavior with other cars on the road has not really appeared to change. It overall it feels like a minor update, other than the items that were called out, the Bluetooth and the voice command reliability. Other than when it doesn't have a connection, it seems to get me almost every time on the voice commands. I mean, every now and then there's one where it doesn't happen, but that's fine. That's very fine. It's not like when we first got voice command of this new version 10 version, and it started to not work at all. Some other folks, depending on your car, will receive the ability to have increased regen, and that's all that hits off the top of my head. At the end of the month, we should be receiving another update. This one should be the beginning of more major updates. So, what have you seen in this update, or what do you hope to get, depending on whether you've got it or not? Let us know down below in the comment. The Autopilot logic is the same, but it is definitely twitchier. It's a lot of left and right movements, not ping-ponging like a lot of people like to say. It is just twitching. Even to go straight down the lane, it is very twitchy. The accelerations and braking events are not smooth. I would call that a regression. But since the Autopilot core is getting redone, I don't know if it does any good to complain about it or not. So we'll see what happens on the next update, and we'll catch you on the flip side. So I don't know what has changed between this weekend and now. It's the same software update. The cameras are not dirty. The sensors are reporting nominally. I did also have my Sentry Mode deactivated itself 2 or 3 times in these last 2 days for system fault. But Autopilot was there when I came back. Typically when I do have it kick out Sentry Mode, it also kicks out Autopilot when I get back on the next trip. So that's pretty much all I've seen over the last couple days. I'll let you know if I see more. I'll kind of pin a comment, and then hopefully you all have seen something as well, and we can have a little discussion about it. Kacey here. We've got another update ready for the car, and we've got an errand to run, so let's go kick it off. I did a video on 2020.8.1, but then 8.1.1 came out, and I didn't get that one. And now it looks like we're getting 2020.12. So what I'll probably do is at the end of this video, I'll put in the original clips, not the whole video, but just the important bits about the bugs I experienced on 2020.8.1. It looks like that might have been why that update was pulled. But 2 things I didn't mention in that video that were included are the... Yes, I'm coming. The track mode for track mode V2 for the it's going to be playing music. Track mode V2 for the Model 3 performance with the performance upgrades package, and XFAT support for the TeslaCam USB storage device. So let's go do the update and take a look, see what it gets us. Okay, let's take a look. We are looking at 2020.12. No dots or anything. Let's go ahead and connect to the hotspot. I've already gone ahead and put the car in drive. That way it will stay on the hotspot. So, next up is we will let it download. Hopefully it finishes by the time I finish my errand. And then we will let it install before we go and deal with our appointments for the day, and then if it installs while I am done with the errand, we'll be able to try out Navigate on Autopilot, try it in some traffic, see what happens. Catch you on the flip side. Model Y delivery started yesterday, and I think it would be awesome to catch one this weekend, but I don't know that that's going to happen. Although Alpharetta, Georgia, I saw a tweet that they had a delivery of a whole truckload of them this morning, so maybe. So if the Sentry Mode fails again, I'll actually remember to take a screenshot, and I'll put that in the video too. But the update is at 100%, even though it says it's still downloading. So I left the phone in the car. We'll see what happens. Looks like we're good to go. So, on to the next stage. What we'll do is we'll go home and then start the update process. And let's take a look and see if the Sentry Mode killed itself. Yeah, cigarette smoke. Gross. Alright, so notifications. Oh, the door's closed and I'm sitting in this chair. Music. Software update available. YouTube, Twitter, New York Times. So Sentry Mode didn't fail this time. Interesting. Anyway, we'll do this update and we'll catch you on the flip side. One interesting bug that I've seen that's not related to this version, it's been going on for quite a while, but it continues into 2020.8.1, is that the slide to home shortcut link over here, it if I'm not home, it's supposed to take me home, but what I find is if I'm close to home, not even like where I can see it, like I'm talking like miles, it will still try and take me to work on my non-work days, which is interesting. Anyway, that's just a little anecdote. We'll see if that ever goes away, and if I do notice it stopping, I'll be sure to point that out. We're gonna climb it off. Another thing I forgot to point out that was in 2020.8.1 is it'll tell you about how many stalls are out of order. The next step would be for them to tell you which ones to avoid, as well as which one would give you the fastest and slowest charge. Come on, guys. Almost there. Alright, so let's click this update button. Click install now, and then we'll get out of the car. Remember, if you tap this 3 times, it'll start, but I had to put on my shoe and collect my stuff. So we will catch you in a moment. Kacey and Luna here. We are on our way to our appointment, and the car should have the update showing on the screen. Hopefully it's not playing music. We'll get some pictures and read through it if there's anything new, but from everything I know, it's just a bug fix update. Green the Only on Twitter has shown that he thinks that there might be some features related to the car getting ready to start stopping at stoplights, red stoplights, and stop signs. So that's probably not ready today for us to see, but hopefully the stuff I did notice on the last one is fixed. Let's find out. Alright, so it's still showing the Bluetooth improvement and the improved voice command reliability. So it looks like, as far as Tesla wants us to know, this is just a bug fix. So let's watch this over the next couple trips, and then we'll report back. Catch you on the flip side. So far, it is calling a lot more cars garbage cans than just that blue BMW crossover. It also is recognizing these larger pylons as either pylons or cones, depending on both the color and what it did, just randomly it seems to decide what they are. The black ones, or brown ones, dark brown, it either determined that they were pylons or cones or trash cans. The yellow ones, it determined they were pylons or cones. So, more to come. So they've fixed a lot of the jitteriness, but it still wants to change lanes miles before the exit. And like right now it's just running way slower than it used to. It kept trying to stop. So very first impressions of the first ride, not going great, but the smoothness has come back, and I like that. It's not suddenly afraid of stuff that's way behind you to the left and right. Time will tell what this actually is, and hopefully I'll be able to get enough of a sample to give you guys a conclusion shortly. The reason I'm so ready to take off so many points for the insistence of being in the wrong lane, or being in the right lane way too early, is when you're stuck in traffic moving at 20 miles an hour or less, and for 4 miles the car insists on moving lanes and fighting you to the point where you just turn off nav on autopilot, you might understand. It's really annoying, but so far, after I recorded that last clip, it stopped trying to do it, and it realized where it was trying to go. So we're probably definitely going to have to take it on a work commute and see what happens. But I'm just glad it's smooth and not all jerky and jittery and scared of its own shadow. It actually felt unsafe sometimes, but it did. Not unsafe, but like unstable. Like it might make a wrong move and you had to be ready to correct a little more intensely than typical with this system. But the smoothness and the stability, they seem to have returned. Good job. Everything seems the same with supercharging so far, other than that weirdness with the trying to jump in the lane way too early. It looks like they fixed everything they broke, and then of course, like Green was saying, they put a lot of stuff in the background that we can't see yet, that hopefully it's in shadow mode on some of the cars, sending back the occasional photograph or video snippet, and I'll let you know what it does after a commute, and then we'll give this thing a summary. So we had two cases where I was on autopilot and the light turned red. So the very first one, I cranked the speed down to 0, and it didn't look like it was actually going to stop. And at the very last minute, it stopped this far over the stop bar. So I decided to try it again on the next red light, and the car slowed down aggressively, but it was not going to make the stop. And then I got the red hands with a red foot on the brake pedal icon, indicating that it knew it was going to run the red light, and it wanted me to take over. That was cool. So I think they might be ready for us to try out on the stopping for stop signs and stop lights based on that behavior. Not obviously right now, they haven't said we can rely on it, and it's proven just now also that you can't rely on it, but it's obviously watching, and that was pretty cool. I think I may have been onto something with that previous acknowledgement that it appeared to have been paying attention to the stop bars and the red lights. It was coming up on traffic at a place where there was a red light down across under a hill, and traffic was at a standstill, but I was far enough back that they were out of radar range, and the car would have normally just raced up to them and then slammed on the brakes. As we crested the hill, it started to regen, and then I didn't have enough temperature in the battery to fully bring it down to speed in regen, so then it started to blend in the brakes very, very smoothly, and gracefully brought it to a stop behind the stop traffic, and it looks like they're turning some stuff on. It still wants to get out of the lanes way too early when navigating on autopilot, but it looks like the rest of it's got some improvements. And they fixed all the other bugs I've noticed so far. We'll find out about Sentry Mode today, since we're going to work on Monday. We haven't closed due to the health scare. Kind of wish we would. So let's find out. If by lunchtime I haven't got a... Well, I say that. The very latest it's lasted was until about 2 hours after lunchtime. And we'll find out what happens with Sentry Mode. Catch you on the flip side. I keep raving about this autopilot. There was this on-ramp that I'm on right now. Normally it just kind of slows way the heck down for whoever's coming on the on-ramp, and this time it saw the person was kind of lining up with me, and it already started to slow down, but it wasn't slowing down for them. It was slowing down because it was a short on-ramp, and as they matched my speed, the car just picked back up speed, slowly merged in, and had a little message on the screen to be prepared to assist. And from there, that's going to slow down for this person probably. Nope. Okay, so from there, it got in front of the guy as he's coming out, and then it slows down so it doesn't take the turn way too quickly. Totally the way, well, a little slower than I would have done it, but totally the way I would have done it, and that's pretty cool. The Sentry Mode didn't error out today. I want to give it one more day before I say definitively whether it will or will not error out, but if I finish the video before then, all I'll do is I'll leave a note in the comments. So now we're going to do another commute home, this time on a toll road, and we'll see what it does. And we'll catch you on the flip side. So I've just started work from home, and so I'm leaving the parking garage, and it'll be a little while before we get any more commuting videos. But to summarize what happened on that last commute, it went off without a hitch. The first place where I noticed that the car was trying to get out earlier than previously from whatever lane into the be way ready to get off the highway, that one is still there, but all the others, aside from the one that we noticed when we were running those errands, has apparently resolved itself. So I like this update, the 2020.12. It said 2020.12. nothing. Yeah, 2020.12. No further points beyond it. That's pretty cool. Catch you on the flip side. So my car's found a new target to call garbage. It's usually a BMW convertible, or not, it's usually a BMW, like a X6 or X5, something like that. And I was going to say crossover SUV. But it very clearly thinks that Accord is garbage. If that BMW is there, we'll get a picture of it. Here we go. This is the one. It usually hunts out this blue X whatever and puts a garbage icon on it, no matter what camera it's on. It didn't do it today, but typically it does. Kacey here. This video is, or this part of this video is about the software update I just received to 2020.12.1. I'm not sure how I'm going to edit this because this is actually 4 videos. I've had several software updates and they keep releasing new ones before I get the old one out. So we'll see how this is all put together. But let's go look in the car and see what's in this update. It's a 0.1 update from my last one. I was on 2020.12, and now I'm on 2020.12.1. Again, this is a pre-Raven 2018 Model X P100D. Might have to mute the music. Let's see. Maybe. Alright, so we're showing the same update notes about Bluetooth and voice command reliability. And in between this update and 2020.12, I got a map update, which hasn't happened in quite a while. And so I'm gonna give this a short little run through its paces. Right now we are sheltering in place. So I'm actually picking up Luna from work. She was deemed essential services, and now her company is closing for at least a month. So I'm gonna see what I can see. Probably no commutes, because I don't want to wait that long to put another video out. But we'll see what happens. If I notice anything out of the ordinary from 2020.12, I'll make a note of it. But let's go for a ride and let's see if there's anything that we notice that's different. We got our little bars there, and so regen will be limited. The improved regen I found out is pretty much just Raven cars and the Model 3, and of course Model Y, but nobody knew what Model Y felt like outside of Tesla before the vehicle launched. So, all right, let's get started. And stop signs are now rendered with more detail. So, driving up to the stop sign, the red light, it was like it wanted to stop, but obviously it still hasn't told us that that's part of the feature set. So, that was interesting. I think the code's already there. They just haven't hooked it up to do anything. Yeah, Model 3. The lane centering behavior feels like it has been adjusted. It could just be in my head, but it definitely feels like it's been adjusted. Alright, I'm going to film this. Coming up, we've got a stop sign. It will probably just run through it, but I'm curious if it does any more of that like pre-staging stuff like it did at that previous stoplight. As we were coming around the corner, it was hesitating, it was actually pressing on the brakes, and then once it saw the red light, it decided it was going to go straight on through. So I hit the real brake pedal and stopped it. But let's see how it behaves here. Looks like it just wants to run it, so we're going to push the brakes a little firmly. And it sees both stop signs and renders them with the word stop. Ludicrous. That was half a pedal. Maybe a little more than quarter pedal. Alright, catch you next time I see something interesting. Driving like you don't have any sense. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is, you probably won't hear any of this because if the music comes through, I'm gonna have to mute it up. But we're gonna do a summon since there is a lot less traffic out here than typical. And if I do have to cut it out, I'll explain that. And see you in a moment. Okay, here we go with the smart summon. Start screen recorder and no sound. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. Okay, it's going to go straight forward. That makes sense rather than backing up. Very confident. Slowing for the intersection a little early. Probably because of that truck with the trailer. Wow! You're a little zippy, aren't you? Okay. You gonna stop for that sign? Oh, it stopped for the intersection. Okay. I think just because it's an intersection, not because it said stop. Although it sees that it says stop. Waiting for the guy. A little late to wait for the guy. Alright, let's go do a quick supercharge just to see what's different about that. Oh, it was much more confident about the completion there too. Still stops in the middle of the road like a jerk. And we'll catch you in a moment at the supercharger. So there was a bus stopped in the off-ramp. On-ramp? It's one of the combos. It's like a cloverleaf. On and off. We needed to get off, and the car slowed to 30, and it kind of wasn't sure what to do. It was a unique behavior, or new behavior, I should say, really. And it just kind of slowed down. It slowed down to 30 in a 45. Well, where it would be doing 45, but it's a 40. And it does not look like they have fixed any of the speed limits for our area with this new map, which is super awesome because in Virginia it's really easy to get a ticket and get a shadow removal of your license. So you have to be extra careful. Alright. So far we're basically just going to the supercharger, the nearest one, and the behavior is alright. In fact, I'm going to push the button and see if the bus even shows up to humanize on the tape, on the memory card. And we'll see what happens with that. Alright, so we actually got onto the road from the exit where it's always making the mistake, so I don't know if that's repaired yet or not. And since we are sheltering in place, it's going to be a while before we have a chance to see what the new behavior might be. I just want to have a little bit of charge in the battery, and not that I think we'd evacuate to anywhere since this thing is everywhere. But, you know, to take care of the phantom drain and the fact that the parking garage is under renovations, I still can't plug in because of that. Well, I can, but I might find my nice quality extension cord has been absconded with. Alright, we're approaching, and we'll catch you after we plug in and let you know if there's anything different with that behavior. Yep, it takes the exit just fine. Okay, so the different height traffic lights still confuses it. It thinks they're all at different distances. Actually, that got better as we started to roll. I'm curious to see if Green is able to get any of that data out of his new car, or if he put the old Autopilot in his new car to see what kind of distances it might be pulling. That will be interesting to watch. Alright, so there's company. We will put some distance between them and us. It's a white Model X. The mall is like practically empty. I think all of this traffic is the Target and the eateries. Okay, I hear the pumps. So the car is definitely pre-conditioning, even though I didn't see any messages to that effect. Hear that? It's ready. It's thirsty. Let's give her something to drink. Same as typical, just that little burst right as we approach the station. So even though they don't show correctly on the map sometimes, this one is accurate. They still act right. I'm gonna put on my PPE, you know, gloves before we touch any common surfaces. Again, when you're at superchargers, you want to keep your volume such that people don't hear it through the aluminum skin of the car. I have nice nitrile gloves, but these food service gloves were ready. All right. Let's see what we're working with here. See if it turns green. Yes, it does. There goes that coolant pump again. And the text size is still that smaller size from all those versions ago. All right, we're gonna just give this a quick boost, just that way as it's sitting at home parked, it doesn't lose too much. And we will see you at home. It actually appears that the navigation update did not complete, so I'm going to go ahead and connect the hotspot, and hopefully it will be able to finish up now. Fossils. All that noise to go like barely faster than the bus. Okay, so it looks like it's re-downloading the nav data for the map. Hopefully one of the parking spots under my window is open so I can use the Wi-Fi instead of the phone, but we'll see what happens. I just got a text from my cell phone provider that I've used up almost all of my tethering plan, so they're going to slow it down for the next 2 days if I use it all. And let's see where we are with this update. Not even close. Not even close. So hopefully there's parking outside of the apartment. It'll be so great when we have a driveway again, and also don't have your music loud at the superchargers. Keep it at like 5 or lower. Okay, so the centering behavior when the lane gets wider, for like an on-ramp or something, is back. So instead of it behaving nicely and just moving over just a hair, like it had been doing with the last couple updates, it doesn't snatch the wheel and sling it over, but it does move over more than it should for a very temporary, very short widening of the lane. You win some, you lose some. Well, I've used my full data cap and still don't have the download for the maps. And at 128 kbps, the download calculators out there are saying that for a DVD is about 14 hours, and I'm not going to do that. And with the social distancing policies, the neighbors are not going to move their cars, and while there was room in the driveway for me to kind of pull to the side, one of the super fast ones was trying to sweep us through the chute, and rather than get into a fight with a neighbor in the middle of social distancing, I will just wait to get the update for the map later. My data resets in 2 days, or maybe at that point somebody will have to go get groceries and I can snag the spot under the window for a moment. I don't need long, I've got fiber. Oh well, we'll catch you on the flip side. So somebody or somebody's guest left the spot right underneath our window open, and I was able to catch an update. So now the map data is up to date, but now Luna is no longer going to work every day because her business is closed, and so it'll be a little while before I have drive anywhere that it'll be a little while before I have to drive anywhere that that I'll actually need the map on. And so I guess I'll go ahead and conclude this this brief review. I'm back. I forgot my debit card in the car. Had to pick up some provisions for the mailbox. And since that map is done downloading, what we're going to do is we're going to navigate up to the supercharger and then right back to the apartment and see if the map data helps out with that at all. And the highway's a little loud today, so I'm going to go in the car and finish talking to you. So I have updated my flash drive, my portable SSD, to use XFAT. I reformatted it because on 20.8.1, sorry, on 2020.8.1, they made XFAT a supported format for TeslaCam. So I'm going to plug that in, put in the navigation, and we'll get started. In addition to that, Green the Only and Kyle from Out of Spec Motoring have put up little hints as to what prompted this final update to not final, but finally prompted them to finally update the navigation data, and it looks like that is a requirement for the new auto stop feature. It's not yet in my firmware. It looks like it'll be on 2020.12.1.1, which is probably a insider build, but I don't have that. But Green the Only also said that his previous car, he just switched it out for a new Model X, was auto stopping with the right flags turned on his system. So you don't necessarily need the new map, but Tesla's requiring the new map, and they obviously have a reason for that. So let's see if, for someone who doesn't yet have the ability for the full self-drive to auto stop the car at stop signs and stoplights, let's see how it behaves. Let's see if it tries to take that exit at the wrong place. Let's see if it knows I don't even think they're new speed limits. Let's see if it knows the right speed limits. Okay, so I'm not sure what happened, but the drive is in the right format, and I'm wondering if they removed the support for XFAT. I even reformatted it again with the Android phone, just in case it was a Linux thing, and it is not. So I will be reformatting it back into FAT32 when I get back to the home office. And about to get on the highway, so we'll catch you in just a moment. The speed limits are still wrong. This road is speed limit 55, not 65. So I'm going to break it down. 70 will get me a ticket. 65 probably will too, but they don't seem to actually do anything about that, thankfully. Alright, so far so alright. I'm going to let it stay in the slow lane, hopefully. So I'll actually probably break it down to 60. And then we'll see if it tries to get off at 166. Let's see what happens. Oh, I am not keeping up with the flow of traffic, so back to 65. Apparently, I won't be the one getting the ticket here. We'll see. Alright, so here we are approaching exit 166. Typically, 166A. Typically the car will try and exit here to get to the supercharger, which actually doesn't have a way there without having to double back on surface streets. And not just along surface streets, but you actually have to make an effort to get back to the supercharger from this particular exit. Okay, so the car is shifted over now for this tractor trailer. It did not do that right away. Let's see what happens. Now approaching 166A. And they fixed it! Woo! Okay, so typically that line would veer off to the right and the car would try to take the road, which is wrong. And it looks like they fixed that. The speed limits are still wrong, but they are actually accurate for the express lane. So I don't know if it's just that they can't have, with their software, multiple speed limits for the same road? I don't know. It's reporting what I see. So next up is to get to the supercharger. I'm at 64, so we could use the charge, but we're social distancing and we don't need to go anywhere, so I don't really want to waste a glove. So we're going to take the exit, and then, see, it centers itself sometimes aggressively. In this case it was not that aggressive when the lane gets wider. But anyway, so we're probably just going to take the exit and then get back on the road and go home. And we'll see. Catch you on the flip side if anything else exciting happens. Oh, it sees the speed limit is 55 here. Let's adjust it. But the speed limit where I got on is also 55, so I don't know. It's better than nothing, I'll give them that. Okay, so I got the red hands. The car was in the wrong lane. I was gonna see if it stopped at the end of the exit like it sometimes does. It wanted to, knew it should have, but it's not programmed to, so I got the red hands. It's like, hey, you're gonna run that red light. So I pushed the brake. So just one more point upgrade and we get the option. This is not the exact way to the supercharger, but the car put me in the wrong lane and I didn't want to be the jerk, so. The speed limit is correct going back this way as well. Navigate on Autopilot seems unchanged from before. They messed it up in 2020.8, and pulling up to the traffic light before this, behind other cars, the behavior was, again, just like it has been for quite a while now. And now we're back to the wrong speed limit. There are no speed limit signs here for me to show you. Here's one for the express lane, but it's off because the express lane is going the other direction right now. Oh well, just trust me, this sign says 55. I think it picks the exit lane at random because it seems to always pick the wrong one. Not always, but it seems to. The times I see it get the right lane is when it's actually a Navigate on Autopilot exit, like it's a combined exit. So that's not the case here or at the supercharger.